Hello everyone, welcome to Everiathing. I'm your host, Jackie D. Our topic today is something that's very relevant, urgent. It's about empowerment, positive body image. Our special guest is a fashion and beauty stylist. And the first thing that caught my attention is what she does and what she talks about on her social media platform. Perfectly Average blog. Karyn's platform talks about women and fashion and how dressing up makes you feel about yourself. Her Instagram is about self-love, loving your image. She talks about women's style, women's fashion sense, and how we should be dressing up to make us feel good about ourselves. But I will leave that all for her to talk about because she's here right now with us. Let's welcome Karyn. Welcome to the show, Karyn. How are you today?
I'm really good. I'm really tired, but I'm good. I'm happy.
Before we talk about yourself, tell me how busy you are as a hairstylist. I know that's no joke to be one.
Well, I've been doing it for 22 years, so I'm pretty busy, but I think it's just accumulation. And I usually put a cap on about 2 months. I don't book further than 2 months because I also need a life.
Yes, that's true. Because even if you want to have a break in between, it's really almost impossible. I can
Yeah,
almost tell.
yeah, very
But
much so.
I watch your Instagram. You're very active on Instagram, and that's why this is amazing to feature you on the show because you don't even
Thanks.
look it. You do all your fashion, you show your clothes, you're talking to people. It doesn't look like you've worked for like 24 hours straight.
Smoke and mirrors, smoke and mirrors.
Oh my gosh. So you've worked for 22 years in
Yeah,
hairstyling. That's a very good career because I think every woman like myself, we
yeah,
like, we like to look good and we are
yeah.
very dependent on our hairstylists like you. But see what is very remarkable about you is what you do behind the scenes, so to speak,
Mhm,
what you do outside of your career.
mhm.
Describe what you do. Like, give us a little bit of a summary of what you do
Okay.
outside of your hairstyling career. It's blogging, right? Because
Yeah.
you meet people. When did you start and what inspired you to do that?
So it started out as a written blog, which is a bit of an old-fashioned idea. I realized very quickly nobody reads written blogs anymore. So I was writing these really like thoughtful pieces about getting older and fashion, and nobody, even my best friends, weren't reading it. They were just pretending to. So I figured out really, really quickly
Of
that I
course.
needed to do bite-sized pieces on social media if I wanted it to be anything. So that's what it's become. It was born out of actually a school project. I knew going into fashion school that I wanted to do something in the plus size and like middle-aged, mid-size sector, but I wasn't sure what it was. And then I had to do a social media project for one of my classes, and it was to come up with a blog, a hypothetical blog, and put it all together and present it as if I was being hired to do this. And I was like, well, why don't I turn this into a real project that I can use? What would I do if I was going to write a blog?
Yeah.
And yeah, it would be about that. It would be about, just a relatable experience, getting older, getting bigger.
It's very relevant, honestly.
Right?
And I know people probably can imagine the importance of acknowledging different sizes, different ages, because sometimes age is associated with youth, but now it's changing. And
Yes.
your audience, the people you feature, actually are a great example of the kind of world we live in now,
Yeah.
right? So you interview people who are within that demographic.
Yeah. And I feel like it's really important too to show the reality. Even when I'm just doing a little get ready with me video, I have to remember that it's not really about me. If I was looking at this, what would I want to see? And I want to see the reality. I don't want to see the pretty picture of like the big girl shown from head on. I want to see, well, what does your stomach look like from the side? Like, do you have I've got a big old flat white girl butt. Like, that's what I want to see. I don't have those like amazing juicy booty. And I think that,
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
relatable, right? So
And
I'm
it's
trying to
real.
show, yeah, exactly.
It's
I'm
real.
trying to show what I would want to see.
That's very
Here's
true.
like, here it is from all angles. This is the reality of it.
Have you always had this self-esteem? Like respect for
You're,
your body and acceptance
weirdly,
that
yeah.
it can be anything. Anything can happen to you.
Yeah. It sounds really I guess, like self-important, but yeah, I've always had more confidence and I've known what to do with. Which has helped me a lot and held me back a lot. I have to watch my ego. That's one of my weaknesses that as I get older, especially, I recognize more and more, like I can see myself going there. I've
Mm-hmm.
never in my life felt like I was lesser than or not worthy of anything. And it's given me a great opportunity to live life the way I wanted to. And probably like put a barrier in some of those opportunities I could have stood to be more humble.
When you interview these ladies, what is the initial reaction when you approach them?
Well, I mean, with great confidence I have to approach them and great sensitivity because no one wants to be thought of as the big girl or the old lady, right? If I'm
True.
approaching somebody that I think has amazing style, I'm like, oh, there's a girl who looks like she's a size 20, or she's 50 or 60 years old. She looks amazing. It's my intention that I'm showcasing her, but I'm also assuming that she knows she's a big girl or she knows she's older, and that's not always the case. Some people are really offended. They're like,
Mm.
"Oh, great, you want to interview me because I'm a big girl? Thanks a lot."
And
So it
that
has to
can
be done with a bit of sensitivity.
That's very true. And you obviously have a way with words because you can talk about the same topic, but it depends on how you bring it up. And it
Yeah,
depends on how you ask your question or how you make your remarks after they make a statement, right? So
yeah.
you have to have that skill. And obviously, you are very skilled.
Well,
And
thanks.
because you have to have the compassion in you, right? That's how you're able to actually get your message across because the way you present yourself is not like, okay, there's something wrong. No, because you
No,
yourself, you're showing that, hey, it's not about flaunting. It's about
no.
really welcoming everyone of all shapes and sizes and color even, right? And
Yep,
hair.
absolutely. And
What
it's
was your biggest rejection? Like is there anything that you remember that really made you stand back and go like, oh, I didn't realize this is the effect of what I'm doing, whether it's positive or negative. Do you have any of that kind of experience?
Yes, in terms of negative, I think a lot of people take my content personally when I'm posting about trends. That's a big one I notice. If I say, if I just do something playful like, these are 5 trends that are making you look older, skinny jeans, crew socks, blah, blah, blah. And the hate comments I get are really intense because women
Oh,
especially take it very personally. Like, you can't tell me that I'm not supposed to wear skinny jeans. And my
oh,
intention is just to be playful. Like trends are what they are. They don't just not exist. It's
that's
not
true.
meant to be an order. I'm not directing anybody. You don't
Yes,
have to stop
yes.
wearing your skinny jeans. I'm just stating the fact, man. That's what it is.
And that's on Instagram, right? They
That's
make
on
these
Instagram. Yeah.
comments. These are your opinions.
Yeah,
And people will have opinions. We never can really please anyone. Do you answer them? Do you reply? And how do you
I do.
reply to
Yeah, to
these
every
very
single one.
negative comments? Good,
I
good.
do. Every single one. I actually have a little game about trying to find the nicest possible thing I can say to everybody. So anything they say to me, it could be scathing, and I will try to flip it around in a way that's, even if it's just thank you for your opinion, it was very brave of you to share that.
Takes a lot of maturity and wisdom to
Sometimes
speak
it
that
gets a
way.
little snarky. If somebody's really mean, I'll just say like, "Wow, you sound like a very nice person." It's a little passive aggressive, but it's still friendly.
Has it ever affected you? Has it ever given you a cause of anxiety that when you wake up and you see, oh, there are new comments, are these going to be mean?
No, not for a second. I don't have very many followers. I'm not Insta famous or anything. I think maybe if I was, Kim Kardashian and it was really personal, like I'd really put my life out there, it might feel worse, but I don't put much of my life out there.
But you never know. And it's not even the number. You touch one person, you motivate, inspire one person, or you simply show appreciation for one person, especially because you're talking to people of middle sizes and
Yeah,
middle age, right? And they feel that they're appreciated. You're actually making such a difference in that person's life, and I
I
think it's
hope so.
worth it.
I feel like there's this narrative out there that flattering is synonymous with thinning, which is something I'm trying to change just in my personal philosophy. I don't think thinning is synonymous with flattering. I think those are two separate things. I think
Yeah,
something can make you look like, we'll use the F word
yes,
because it's just an easy word to say, fat. Like something can make
true.
you look fat and still look good because I don't think there's anything wrong with looking fat. So
That's
I
true.
think there's this narrative that's been happening for probably decades that, if a big girl puts something on that makes her look a little slimmer, it gives her a waist or reduces her size in some way. Oh, that dress is very flattering on you. And those are meant synonymously. And I don't agree with that.
True,
I've
true.
seen women in a full-on muumuu with no waist, and they're just stunning.
That's true. It's giving a connotation or a meaning that because you're
Yeah,
not really, your shape's not good, right?
yeah, yeah,
It's giving
right?
that. It's very negative. But
What's wrong with
honestly,
being bigger? Who cares?
that's true. That's true. And you're healthy, you're not sick, you're happy.
Yeah,
And as long as again, as long as you're healthy, because there is also you if you go beyond that, then there's the obese, right? Which it's not because of size. For personally, I think it's not because of size, but it's because more of your health, like your
yeah,
heart. But otherwise, if you're not talking about health, then don't even go into the size thing
yeah.
because it's a preference.
It's totally a preference. That's a good word. Everybody
Yeah.
likes something different. Everyone's attracted to something different, and
Oh yeah.
everyone's comfortable in a different body. I wear a lot of like big oversized shirts. I know it's really popular right now, and I'm definitely on that trend. And yeah, they make me look probably 10 to 20 pounds bigger than I am. But I don't think there's anything wrong with looking 20 pounds bigger than I am.
And you carry yourself well, you carry yourself with confidence. That's really what matters.
Yeah, I don't think anybody cares as much as we think they care about us?
You're very right there. We think that people think that way.
Yeah, they don't. They're too
They
worried about
don't.
what they look like to everybody to worry about what we look like to them.
Yeah, that's true. And honestly, they have other things on their mind. What you're doing right now is very good for mental health, especially for young girls who are gonna be older many years from now. And that's why we have so many girls who have anorexia nervosa, who have eating disorders, bulimia, binge eating, or all of these in the line of health, of physical looks. And
Yeah,
just imagine if there's a very young girl who's already affected by size and who thinks she's not good enough. And let's just say she's 17. That's a lot of years in the future that can be
yeah,
lost, right? Because of that.
yeah,
Your project is something that should be seen by many people because you never know, there's someone out there who is also doing the same. And
yeah,
when you join hands, you
yep.
create it's 1 + 1 = 3. It's not two, right? You have a bigger voice. I think you're attending community, attending events.
That's definitely the intention. I would love to do more networking. I'm working 7 days a week right now. There is an end in sight. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I am hoping to spend all that extra time I was in school doing more networking, more interviews, taking social media to maybe a more elevated level rather than just focusing on what's in my life locally, putting more effort into curating interviews with people who maybe have a bit more of a presence. And
So when do you do your interviews? How do you fit that into your crazy schedule?
I don't really, well, I'm a hairstylist, so I've got color processing time. Every once in a while, I'll have 45 minutes where colors are processing, and I'm like, all right, what do we have? I'm always on social media. So if I have 45 minutes, I'm not sitting around at work. That is work time. I'm either editing reels and scheduling them for the future, or I'm interviewing people in the salon. I'm really lucky that we have like hundreds of people coming in and out of the salon every week. So there's always someone to grab and ask questions of and feedback on outfits that I'm wearing. I love getting dressed in the morning. It's my favorite part of the day is picking out my new outfit. I have lists of outfits, like a literal written list in the notes on my phone
No
of outfits
kidding.
that I've worn that I thought looked great. And so I keep track of it in case I ever want to wear it again.
You're so organized, you're so detailed. You have a like system.
Oh my
Some
gosh.
people, right? Some people just okay, I'm gonna dress up. But look at you, you have it planned to a T, like an
That's because I
outline.
love it. I can't write a grocery list to save my life. I can barely budget because listing is not my strength. But yeah, if I love it, I'm deep end, both feet in the deep end.
How do you find the people to interview?
Well, most of them are in my daily life. I'm really lucky. Like the women who come into the salon, like the salon life is mostly women. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Women with an X, I will specify. And I guess it's just luck. Like there's so many women willing to help and be a voice, and women want to be heard. Not just women, everyone wants to be heard. That's kind of the common factor in humanity. Anyone I've ever talked to whether they're a student or a millionaire. Everyone wants to be heard. So if you ask the right questions and flatter people a little bit, let them know that this is not a like an expose. It's really like it's positive. I'm honestly honoring you. I think you look amazing. You're obviously
Yes,
not like a
yes.
skinny mini, and that's perfect. That's what we're looking for in the world. More representation.
Yes, more representation and awareness, creating an awareness within the
Goodness,
community that, can't you can't determine the value of a person because
yeah.
of their size, because of their age.
Well,
What
and
year was that? You probably will know. What year was that when you had to be so thin? Was
heroin
that
thick or thin?
thin? Like,
Oh, thin.
like
Heroin
model.
chic.
Oh, what year was
That was
that?
like 1992 to
Hmm.
97, that Kate Moss modeling
Yes,
era.
yes, that modeling.
Yeah.
I've watched videos where girls were being, taught on how you can maintain your body, and it's
Yeah.
heartbreaking.
It's really sad.
It's
Like
sad.
I was
Like,
a teenager in the 90s, and
oh
one of
no.
my favorite examples is the movie Bridget Jones's Diary. Is
Yeah, yeah,
the whole premise of the movie is that she's the fat girl who has to
yeah.
be interesting in order to get the man because otherwise he wouldn't want her. She's not thin enough. And Renee Zellweger in that show is like a size 6. You watch it back now, you're like, oh, I wish I had that body. That's an amazing
I
body.
know. That's true. That's true. It's just really ruining so many girls, and
Yeah.
it's just devastating. How about the younger generation, those that are approaching the age of 30 or 40? Do you have any
Yeah,
message for this younger generation? Because they're very susceptible. Social media can be very cruel, right?
very much
It's
so.
very judgmental. And you know what? I'm going to ask you about this.
Yeah.
What is your comment about filters?
Oh, okay. I
Oh
have
my
mixed feelings
gosh.
about filters.
I need to hear your comment on that.
They're fun, but they should come with a disclaimer. Because I've been spent 20 years in the fashion and beauty industry, I'm not new to Photoshop. Like my entire career has been about photo editing and whatnot. When I'm hired to do a photo shoot, I'm usually sitting with the photographer going over the flaws in the model's faces and whatnot on camera.
Mhm.
So it's not new technology. And I think because it's so accessible to the public, we think of it as new, but it's been happening since the dawn of photography.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
However, with AI, it's gotten so specific. You
yeah,
can turn
yeah,
your face into something totally different. I just think it needs to come with a disclaimer.
yeah. But not
It's fun.
everybody.
It's fun to see yourself all done up and looking different than real life, and I don't disagree with it entirely, but I think it needs to come with a level of responsibility as well.
You have to be so
Yeah.
grounded so that when you see yourself after your filtered AI image,
Mhm.
you still feel good about yourself because you see
Yeah.
the difference. And I would see that people are using a lot of filter, and you're right. I actually like what you said. There has to be a disclaimer
Yeah, that this
because,
is real.
yeah,
I
th-
think it would be helpful if on their posts it was included somewhere what filter they used. So
mhm.
even if they don't state it, it's like, songs on an Instagram reel, it says what song it is at the top, so you know what it is. I think it would be helpful to know what filter it was that they used.
That's true. That's true. Because otherwise you look so perfect.
Hmm.
And perfect does not exist in the normal body,
And
not
perfect is
even in the face.
Yeah, perfect is boring. Anyone who hires models, any agency will tell you that very few models are hired because they're pretty. They're usually hired because they're interesting looking. They've got some good bone structure. The light hits their face in a particular way. Pretty, I think, is a very small part of the equation.
I think personally, you can't stare on a pretty face for so long,
It's just boring.
right? I think it's more like how the model stares at the lens
Yep,
and
a
how
lot of
they
that
carry their clothes.
presence.
Presence,
Yeah,
and the confidence and the self-esteem that shows even
yeah.
without her having to talk. And
If you look at some of the most famous supermodels in like modern history, they're not necessarily the most beautiful women you'd see on the street, but they're very interesting. There's something about them. Look at Linda Evangelista is a great
yeah,
example.
yeah, that's true. Wow.
She's kind of odd looking in the most beautiful way. And I don't mean that as an insult. I mean it as a big compliment. Like she's symmetrical, the light hits her face well, but she's so interesting you can't forget her face.
What is the most striking feature? of a woman that you think will catch the attention of someone who's taking the photo?
I think a smile.
Mm.
And I
I
know
think
that's a
so.
horrible thing to say, right? Like, girls, smile. You're so much prettier when you smile. But I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
it's okay for a reason.
But a lot of photos of models, they're all like
Yeah, right? They look miserable.
like,
Why?
come on, like at least once, if you have to do all these pouty thing, like maybe a smile, it really brightens up your day, right? You
It
don't have to
does.
show your teeth, but then at least smile and see if
Yeah.
you like it too, right?
My favorite runway shows are
Yeah.
always the ones where the models are allowed to smile and show off their personality.
How has the fashion show evolved from back in the day when
I think they've gotten more serious.
oh,
Back in the day, they were a lot more fun. They were more of an event. And now it's very, with the exception, of course, of some of the really big designers who have the budget to do a whole show. Like
mm.
Chanel always does it up, but Chanel is Chanel. We can't
Of
compare anything.
course.
The models were allowed to smile. The models all kind of looked a bit different. The music was, well, I guess the music now is great as well. It just depends. I'm a sucker for the 90s. I was I very much left my whole heart in the 90s. I never really grew out of it. So,
Like if you're thinking of colors, back in the day, you could imagine we had all the colors around
yeah.
us. But now it's more subdued. You have lots of shadow. And also because there's lots of stigma already going on. And you're always afraid to make the wrong move.
Yeah. Yeah, very much so. People can get canceled so
Oh
easily.
my gosh,
There's so
yeah.
much competition. Like one
Yeah.
wrong move, you're only as good as your last show. That's it. My main things with Perfectly Average is that I really want it to be a fun, easy place to be. I want people to hire me as their stylist because they want to do maximalism. People who want to play with fashion, you know? I like doing hair, I like styling. I would like to be more on the organization team. I think that's probably the
Mm,
next step.
not so much on the runway.
Yeah, I'd like to be part of the team that produces and creates the show.
For our audience, what is your biggest strength?
I'm a great creative director. I'm really good at being in charge. It's I find it very calming to be in charge. I can delegate very calmly. It's probably the ADHD speaking, but I can multitask like no one's business. I know what's happening with hair, makeup, styling. I know which models arrived on time and which didn't. I know what time it is, who the backstage manager is. We're good to go.
If there's anyone who wants to get some great wisdom from this interview, what do you want to say to our audience?
Fashion is fun. It's not meant to be serious. You don't have to take it seriously. I think
Sure.
that's really what's missing from fashion for mid to plus size people is fun, lightheartedness, color, texture, fabric. We don't have to all go to Old Navy and just buy whatever is available. Sorry, my
That's
cat is
true.
trying to get in the shot again.
Our pets are showing up.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, that is amazing. Where do you want people to go to if they want to get to know more about you? Do you have a Facebook page? I know you have an Instagram
Ooh,
page. I'm going to put all the
yeah.
links here, but how do you want them to contact you?
So my text message, not call, and email are best. I answer text messages and emails pretty regularly, like multiple times per day. And that information is on my website. So it's www.curlyhairvancouver.com. That also has the link to Perfectly Average blog, which is the written blog post I have that I'm pretty sure nobody reads.
I know that's why I've stopped also making written blogs.
Yeah,
Nobody
it's a
has the
lot of
time.
effort for
Yeah,
nobody cares
you actually
anymore.
have to read. You just want to listen or
Yeah.
watch. Times
And
right now.
my Instagram pages are Curly Hair Vancouver and Perfectly Average Blog. Two very different tones. I cross promote in stories, but I try to keep them separate so that nobody feels misled by the content they're following.
That's true. And yet they're related. They're very subtly related.
Very subtly related. That's a really good way of saying
Yes.
it. Yeah.
Your Instagram is very put together.
Oh, thank you.
They all are like pieces to a puzzle. And we have a very good idea of what you do. And that's what makes you really, it makes your profile very impressive. And now I got
Oh, thanks.
to talk to you, and our audience will get to know more about you. And we're so happy we featured you on the show. I'd like to thank Ria, who actually asked me to feature you on the show. She seldom asks me to feature up people. So she goes like,
Rhea is
Mom,
one of my favorite people. She's a treat. She's an absolute treat in life.
I know.
People are very lucky to get her, even just for a little bit of their life.
Oh, that is the sweetest thing. Is there anything you want to say before I forget?
I mean, no, this is a great opportunity. I'm coming off of like a 9-hour day at work, and this is probably the best thing I could have done to decompress. Just kind of keep it going, keep it going along. I really hope that we're moving more into an era of body positivity, not just acceptance. Acceptance, I don't think is a nice word, and tolerance, those aren't flattering
Oh
words.
yeah, not tolerance, all the more. It's really very
I
negative.
think like more celebration, like
Yes,
I don't want to hear
celebration.
any more of this. I'm a big girl, but, or I'm really old, but. There's no more like you look good for your age. What does
Yeah,
that even? You look good.
exactly.
Period.
Exactly. You don't have to justify anything. You don't
Right?
have to explain anything. That's you and
Yeah.
you're happy and those are your features.
Yeah.
That's your color. That makes you unique, right?
This is
Oh,
Honey Podgers.
and oh my gosh, she's so fashion oriented.
Yeah. These are
Beautiful.
his workplace pajamas.
Ah, look at you. You're such a sweet mama. Okay, well, this was such a wonderful interview, Karyn. I can't wait to publish this because this is such a positive interview. It's very, very relevant. I'd say it's actually urgent. So thank you for spreading positivity, for making every girl feel good about themselves, and for you yourself for being such a great role model for the
Thank you
community. We're
so much.
so
I really
proud of you.
appreciate hearing that. It means a lot to me.
Keep it up, girl.
Okay. Thank you, Ria's mom.
Okay, of course. We're fans.
Okay. Have a
You
great
take
night.
care. Good luck in everything that you do. We'll get in touch.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Karyn, for joining me on the show. We needed that reminder that we all are special in our own little way. Whatever shape, whatever age, we are special and unique. And to everyone, thank you for joining us on the show. Thank you for following us and for watching this episode. I hope you click the like button and don't forget to comment and share and talk about body image in a very positive way. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms at everiathing. We are on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course, this YouTube channel. Until I see you again, you take care and always love yourself. Bye for now.